Hey guys, welcome back. It's Allison with Baby Stepping to Freedom. It is April 2019, and that means it's time for a new budget. Every month, twice a month, we sit down and write out a budget, a zero-based budget where every dollar has a name. Now remember, zero-based budget does not mean that we have $0 in our bank account. As you'll see, we have a buffer that we include in our zero-based budget, but every dollar we earn has a purpose. We don't have this money just like sitting out there just for funsies. No, we have a plan for all of our money. And this zero-based budget is how we have been successful financially. Without this budget, we would not have been able to pay off the amount of debt that we paid off, and we would probably to this day still be struggling in the ways that we were struggling in the past. This budget that you're about to see is the key to our financial success. If you look around my channel, you'll see I have lots of budgeting videos. They are all the same budget spreadsheet. They pretty much look almost the same every single month because we sit down and we write it out every single month. And after a while, it starts looking pretty much the same. There are little things that come up here and there that we have to fit into the budget, but overall, it's pretty consistent month to month. So check out some of my older budget videos and you can kind of compare to this one today. While you're there perusing through my channel, make sure you press subscribe and turn on notifications for my videos so you can be updated whenever something new is posted. So let's take a look at April 2019 zero-based budget. This is the first half of the month for us. I'll be posting a second half in a few weeks so you can see all of April, how much we're able to save, and what we're spending our money on. So let's take a look at what April is going to bring. Welcome back to the budget. It is now April 2019, which means time for a new budget. So here we have the usual budget spreadsheet. This is the same spreadsheet that I have gone over multiple times. I also have a template that you can download for free that is basically this budget spreadsheet. I'm going to zoom in so you can see a little better if you're on your phone. I start down here at the bottom, pay breakdown. So we get paid 2 times a month. We have our beginning of the month payday, which is what I'm going to go over today, and we have our middle of the month payday, which I will go over in a couple weeks when we get that payday. But as you can see, both Aaron and I get paid at the beginning of the month, and so we put the majority of our bills over in this area so we can get it out of the way when we have a bigger chunk of our income. So our paydays are up here at the top, pretty typical for us. And then down here, these are all of our auto pay, things that come out of our checking account and through bill pay pretty much automatically. Our mortgage comes out automatically, and then we schedule our electricity and our gas and our garbage through bill pay. Then our internet and insurance both come out automatically as well. So those are just our regular monthly bills. They are pretty much always the same. Obviously, our mortgage is the same. We are on equal pay for our electricity, and our gas is usually the same, but it has been changing a little bit, and I think we're at the end of the year of equal pay, and so they are kind of figuring out what our next year of equal pay is going to be. So our gas was a little less than it normally is, but there's that. Our garbage is every other month, so I just take that in and out as needed, and it does change a little bit, but it's pretty consistent. Internet stays the same, and our insurance stays the same. Next is our phone bill. That's something that I manually send to my mom. We are on my mom's phone plan, and so we just have a transfer program through our bank that we can just transfer that money to my mom every month. Next, these red areas, these are all things that we need to transfer. So I have them color coordinated kind of as a reminder to me. So all the red things, I have to make sure I go in and transfer those to a different account. The blue obviously is something that I have to manually send, and then everything else is pretty automatic. Our transfers here, so this $260. This is Aaron's business expenses and his business coach. Then we have our gas account. We don't use cash for gas. We have a separate checking account and we transfer money into that account for our gas expenses. This gas was also for our Nashville trip because we were already budgeting for gas and we just figured we didn't need to budget extra money for gas in Nashville. We just used our gas account while we were there. Next is our personal money. We both got $100 for personal money, but as you can see, mine says $245. That's because I am going on a trip with some friends coming up soon, and so that includes money for food and drinks, and it also includes $45 for a webinar that I'm doing for work that I'll get reimbursed for, but we just put it all in my personal account because it's all money that I'm going to be spending on various things. But $100 is for just my regular personal money, $100 for the trip that I'm going on with friends, and then $45 for the webinar that I'll get reimbursed for, and that's all in my personal account. Next is Aaron's personal money, $100. Then we have our miscellaneous account. That is for random things that come up that we either didn't budget for, or it's kind of our joint personal money. We already spent about $20 of this. We got some wood pellets for our barbecue. We weren't planning on buying any because we didn't necessarily need some right now, but we went to the hardware store and they were 50% off. It was a smoking deal that we just could not turn down, so we used $20 of our miscellaneous money to buy those pellets for our barbecue. And then finally, the last transfer here is random transfer. That is just any transfer that we do between our accounts that isn't accounted for up here. Usually that's into car maintenance. We do have a couple other checking accounts that sometimes we transfer money into, but our car maintenance account is a savings account and we just kind of try and stockpile some money in there. It's essentially a sinking fund. So we keep money in there for things, car maintenance things that have come up. So that is all of our transfers here. That brings us down to cash envelopes. So for cash envelopes, you can see here this formula. It pulls that sum from the box up here. That's our monthly spending category. So we have April, the 1st of the month. This $250 for gas doesn't actually come out in cash. That's accounted for down here. But I like to keep it there so we can keep track of how much we are budgeting at various times of the year. But from here on over is our cash envelopes. Normally at the beginning of the month, we budget more than $240 for groceries. As you can see, $360, $400. I like this because I can look back and see, okay, at this time of the month, last month, how much did we budget? And then that month. So it just gives us an idea of how much we're spending throughout the year. But we were on vacation in Nashville at the beginning of this month, and we also went grocery shopping later than we normally do last month, and so we have more groceries than we typically have on hand at the beginning of the month. So we under budgeted for groceries, which actually worked out fine. We were able to stay within budget and get the things that we need. We're going to get paid again soon, and then we'll be able to go grocery shopping again for things that we have run out of. Next is non-edible grocery. This is our category for things that we get at the grocery store that you cannot eat. That is how we differentiate groceries and all the other things. So this month was kind of a high non-edible grocery month for us. We budgeted for some new toothbrush heads for our Sonicare toothbrushes. Those are usually pretty expensive. We looked at Costco. I think we budgeted in this $40 for new toothbrush heads. We looked at Costco and they were almost $60. We found some off-brand Sonicare toothbrush heads for $18 on Amazon. So we definitely went with those. We have extra money in non-edible grocery because we got a better deal on Amazon. But we also needed some dish detergent and some jet dry for our dishwasher as well. So that is everything that we accounted for here in non-edible grocery. Pet care, this is usually for things that we have to get at the store for pet care. We used to buy litter at the store, and we are now ordering litter through our subscription-based service. We might actually end up taking this pet care category out because we really don't put cash in there anymore because everything comes through our subscription-based service. So as you can see, we really haven't put very much in the pet care cash category. It's all been in other places. Next is restaurant. We typically don't budget very much in restaurant because that money usually comes out of our miscellaneous or personal money. So $0 for restaurant. Car maintenance, because we transferred $80 into our savings, our car maintenance savings, we didn't take anything out in cash. Typically, the difference between our car maintenance savings and our car maintenance cash is just, this is for things that Aaron buys for our cars in person versus things he buys online. So if he needs a car part and he's getting it off of Amazon, he uses the savings account. If he's going into a store to buy oil, he uses this cash account. That's basically the difference there. But we kind of over budgeted in the car maintenance savings, so we didn't put anything in cash. Next here is home maintenance. That, as you can see, is higher than we have spent so far this year, and that is us preparing for our new garden. I will be posting more about what we're doing in our garden this year, but it was one of our debt-free goals to redo our garden the summer after we became debt-free. So as you can see, we've started bulking up our home maintenance for that garden. So this is just a chunk of it. We don't really know how much it's going to cost yet because we haven't really started looking into it, but we know it's going to be a few $100s. So we just put in $200 just to start. Next is gifts. We have some events coming up, new baby born, birthdays, that kind of stuff that we are budgeting in the gift category for. So that's $60. We emptied out our clothing account. These last few weeks, we got some new clothes for our trip to Nashville, and Aaron needed some new work clothes. And so our clothing budget that we had kind of been bulking up throughout the year was gone. So we're starting to bulk that clothing budget back up again. Everything else, as you can see, is zeros. These are kind of miscellaneous things that sometimes we budget for and sometimes we don't. Upcoming is usually where we put in random things that aren't accounted for anywhere else, something that's not a usual expense that we need cash for, but we really haven't had much of that this year. As you can see, there's only $20 here. So upcoming has been pretty low key. And then we haven't budgeted for Christmas, and I haven't really had any work expenses. I did buy a webinar for work, but that's not cash. That was put into my personal money. So I'm going to scroll back down. That cash category brings us to $640 that we took out in cash. All right, now we move down to cat supplies. As I mentioned, we have a subscription-based service that we get our cat food and now our cat litter. And typically we have that come out at the beginning of the month, but last month we got off schedule. We have more cat food and more cat litter than we need right now. So we just bumped that delivery out until the second half of the month. So that will just move from the beginning of the month to the middle of the month. But right now it's $0. Giving, we are kind of in a hump of feeling like there are things that we need to budget for, and we have not started bulking up our giving money yet, but we will be very soon. We're just kind of getting through our vet expenses and our trip to Nashville, and we're going to start bulking up that giving category. Also, when it comes to giving, I feel like it might be less of a sinking fund for us and more of just cash flowing giving as we see fit. So if there's something coming up that we want to cash flow for, we have a budget every 2 weeks essentially, so we can fit in giving as it comes up versus using it as more of a sinking fund. We're just kind of trying to figure out how that's going to look for us. That's where we're at right now. Next, random spent. That is just any money that we spent between getting paid and doing our budget. That's also things that we spend money on that doesn't fit into the budget anywhere else. So we try to make a note of what that includes. So first, our payday, we took a trip to Walmart for a couple things, and we could have taken it out of our grocery money, but we hadn't really put our grocery money together yet. So we were just like, well, we'll just call it random spend, whatever. Also, our vacuum is broken right now, and Aaron figured out what the problem is and ordered the parts off of Amazon. We also went to dinner the night of payday. We took a friend out to dinner the night of payday, which was also the day before we left on vacation. So all of that is accounted for here, the 127 under random spent. Finally, we have right here this baby stepping to freedom category in our budget. Finally, we are in a place where I'm starting to budget a little bit of money to put back into my baby stepping to freedom business. So the biggest thing I'm doing right now is going to do an office makeover. I am going to get a new desk and new decorations and create a space that is a little more comfortable for me and that I can film my YouTube videos in. So I budgeted $240 here for an office makeover, and I have a separate checking account, so that was actually a transfer. This is a new category for us, so if it's going to be a consistent category, I'm going to move it up here to this red area for transfer. So stay tuned on the office makeover. You will be seeing a new backdrop in my videos very soon. Finally, we have our buffer. So all of these things are subtracting from our income up here, and it gives us this remaining amount. Whatever's in the remaining amount is what we transfer to savings. So it gave us $1,897. We did a $97 buffer because we kind of had a messy checking account after our Nashville trip. There were lots of things coming in and out of our account, and we just wanted to leave a bigger buffer than we normally leave, and $97 is like 3 times the buffer that we normally leave. So we made it $1,800 that we put towards savings and a $97 buffer. I will scroll up to the top here. This is where we keep track of the bills that have come out. As you can see, in April, all the bills that we have budgeted for so far have come out. So our mortgage came out. Once the bill has come out of our checking account, I put it in here. That way we know, okay, yep, that's done, that's done, that's done. All of the bills have come out, and what we have left is just the second half of the month bills. I forgot to put in right here. We have put in $1,800 to our savings so far this year, and that gives us a grand total of a little over $10,000 in our savings account. So there we have our grand total in our savings account. That's pretty much what we have so far in our emergency savings. That's about 30% of the way to our ultimate goal of $30,000 in our emergency savings. So thanks for watching this April 2019 first half budget. I will do the second half budget over here in a couple weeks when we get paid again, and you can see what our grand total for the month of April that we are putting into savings. Keep an eye out on my channel for new videos coming very soon. I'll see you next time. Bye.